welcome to the workshop. Where we're at right now is my brand new 24 by 36 workshop. Just put up, I've got it, got the ceiling, sheetrocked, plywood walls, got the overhead doors in. I'm not going with any garage door openers, I just don't need them, I'm not going to use them that often. But the place looks a little sterile. I know I got stuff to bring in here. So, what's a guy going to do? Well, my idea, I got some corrugated steel. This came off of a big farm way out in western Minnesota. Picked it up late in the fall. And I'm going to make some wainscoting, some 4-foot approximate wainscoting. Just like that. Now, in all fairness, what I have done already, I've cut a few pieces, but today I'm going to show you the jig that I've made and that I used to cut these. And we'll cut a few, and I'll show you how to build your own. It's very simple. I had questions, how do you do it, what will cut it, what kind of saw do I need? So anyway, we're going to help you along with that. So here we are with some galvanized corrugated steel cutting. Well, let's start off showing you the jig that I have made, and I'll get into the details of it after. There it is. That holds the steel. Saw goes here. Lift the guard. Cut away. That's all. The blade I'm using is a metal cutting blade. Goes on any skill saw, 7 1/4 inch. So that's what I've got for that. Now this stuff does shower off a lot of sparks, makes a lot of noise. So safety glasses or goggles preferable, but I've got some safety glasses, and some hearing protection. You don't want to damage your ears just simply by cutting some steel. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up. We're going to make a cut. So first off, I just set it up. Piece of wood, no problem. There we go. Last one out of the way. I could just butt it up to this board and back right now, but for this one, I need to cut a little more off. This edge is just terrible. Bring this back, right about there. You'll see this thing does throw off a lot of sparks. I'm also going to say right now, I'm not apologizing, but my wife hates this shirt, so it's mine. I use it for all this stuff. Can't hurt it. So, I cut this a little longer than I like, but I wanted that one finished edge. Just got a couple bad spots. Now when I flip this around and set it in, I just simply butt it up to my stop, right here. 2x6, 1x4, anything, 1x2 would have done just fine. Let's zoom in on that a little bit. So you can see. There it is, butt it up. Let's do one more cut here. It's so thrilling. It's tight. There you have it. A beautiful old, well-used, dirty piece of corrugated galvanized steel. So what I have here, I've got a folding table, just a cheap folding table underneath here. I actually got this one for free from somewhere. It was a throwaway. The top was a little shot, but I had a junk piece of plywood I put on top. Now somewhere roughly 4 feet back, I've got this stopper back here. Now I say roughly 4 feet. It is 4 feet, or whatever distance you want, if I measure to the blade, whichever side of the blade you want. So, that's 4 feet. However, you have to subtract the distance so we've got about 5.25 inches there. So I got to take my 4 feet, subtract 5.25 inches, and that's how far back from there to that stop is. I don't necessarily have to have this all the way out tight. This final edge isn't a big deal, but the distance from here to here is, well, 4 feet minus 5.25 inches. You may choose to do a different height, and this has got to be parallel to that too. So I just did some measuring to get the backstop straight. I put I got about a 1x5-ish, maybe 1x6 piece of junk wood right here. I screwed that solidly to the plywood. So this little one is solid to the plywood. Likewise, on the other side, I've got another one solid to the plywood. Okay. On top of this, I placed another piece of plywood to keep the height the same so my hinges would mate, and this will hinge up and down real easily. Okay? This other piece of wood here, this is the one I put in last, and that is the exact distance, the width, about 2 feet 2 for the corrugated steel that I'm cutting. Yours might be wider, it might be narrow. If it is, shove it in or out. That's all you have to do. So there's the measurements. Make it fit yours. Once again, the big thing is getting this place for your fence to ride up against. This fence stop. Perfect. And every cut after that will be identical. I've got 6 pieces cut right now. And I've got to do, I think, about 50 some to make enough for the shop. Fortunately, I got a pretty good pile of steel. These long ones are over 12 feet long, so I can get probably 3 out of each of those. The next thing you got to figure out is how you're going to affix this to the wall and finish it off. So, although I'm very sad, but I had to buy some new J-channel. This just came from the local big box lumber yard. It's $5 and some cents for this 8-foot piece. It's a little longer than 8 foot. So what I'm going to do with that, it's going to go both on a couple finished edges I have. So it'll be here. It'll look a lot better when it's finished, but that's the basic look that I'm looking for right there. So there'll be a finished edge on there. And I'm going to put that pretty tight to the overhead door. The galvanized steel on the bottom I'm going to put right on the concrete. Then I'll have a couple rows of screws, and then I got to figure out a wooden cap. That's coming later on. You can probably hear it's a little blustery outside today. We've got some severe winds, a lot of trees down, stuff like that going on. But I got a brand new shop, 2x6 walls, fully insulated. It's beautiful in here. I've added one more thing. As a feed table, I got another old free little 6-foot table that's going to support the other end of that. One thing you need to know, make sure the depth of your blade barely cuts through the sheet metal. If it cuts through a long ways, you're grinding a lot of your blade away. So just make sure it just barely goes through the sheet metal and you'll be better off. I'm losing some depth on this thing, I know it, but I might have to go through a couple more before I get this project done. Hey, just in case Porter Cable wants to sponsor me, I'm using a 7.25 inch Porter Cable saw. Anyway, there's the blade right now. I've been using it quite a bit. Well, you can get about 40 to 50 cuts out of a blade. Now it's just a little too small. I cannot reach the, I can't reach the metal. So that's as far down as I took the blade. There we go. There it is. It just will no longer work. So somewhere between 40 and 50 cuts. Maybe if I set the depth up a little bit for the first ones, I could have got a couple more out of it. But it wears out, so I'm going to need a few more of these to finish this trip. Porter Cable, go ahead and sponsor me.